What's up guys, I got the brand new MacBook Neo in, and this laptop is not necessarily for professionals. It's going to be for beginners, students, and people that don't really need a ton of horsepower. Now the cool thing is you can do a lot with this laptop. We've seen people editing in DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut, but it's not really designed for that. And that's kind of where today's sponsor Movavi comes in. So Movavi is a more simplified, more intuitive way to edit video. So you can do TikToks, Instagram stories, you could do YouTube videos as well. And there's a ton of stuff packed into this editor. And the cool thing is you don't really need to know how to be like a crazy editor to use this. So we're gonna walk through this and I'll show you how to edit some stuff. We'll do kind of like a tech style video. And I just wanna show you what you can do because it's actually really cool. And if you are interested in checking this out, I'll have links in the description. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we need to do is bring in some files. So I'm gonna go to add files and I'm going down here. This is the Pocket 4. So we're gonna import that footage. And the hilarious thing is I'm editing the unboxing of the MacBook Neo on the MacBook Neo. But yeah, we can scrub the file here and you can see the footage there. Now it's upside down and it's flat, but we'll fix that in a second. Now we can double click to put that into the timeline, or we can just drag it down into the timeline. So you can see here, this is our first clip, and all the video clips are in the purple track and all the audio clips are in the green track. Now I could split the audio off of this track, but we're just gonna leave it on this file for now. And as you can see, I can scrub the timeline here and it's playing back the video just perfectly, but we need to flip it because it's incorrectly orientated. So we need to go to Tools, Crop and Rotate. And in here you can see straighten or rotate. So we need to rotate it 180 degrees. So I'm gonna click this twice. 1, 2. So now it's flipped around the correct way. I'm going to apply that. There's a ton of other options in here, like I'm already seeing pan and zoom. You can stabilize your footage. We've got chroma key if you want to do some green screening, which is pretty dope. Scene detection, logo, and background removal. But we're gonna leave it like this for now because we need to color grade this footage. Now, you don't need to know about color grading. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you don't know anything about color grading. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the correct color on this footage. So we're gonna go down here to Tools. I'm gonna go to a Color Adjustments. And if we go to Presets, these are pre-made looks. And so you've got Magic Enhance. That's automatically gonna add the right amount of contrast and saturation to this footage. But I'm gonna manually do it because I need to put the exact correct LUT on my footage. So if you don't know what log footage is, it's just a flat picture profile that allows you to have more dynamic range when you color grade, so there's more shadow information and highlight detail. So we're gonna go to manual mode in here, and as you can see, you got sliders kind of like Lightroom to change your brightness, contrast, saturation, and highlights, but we need to put a LUT on this. So we're gonna go to Effects, and then up here at the top where it says Overlay Effects, the one beside it is LUTs. I've already imported one of my LUTs, so this is the DJI Pocket 4 D-Log to Rec 709 LUT. So we're gonna drag that and put it right on top of my footage here. And as you can see, it's now the correct color and tone and color space, but there's a few things that are incorrect. It's a little bit too warm, and that's just because I shot it that way. So we're gonna go back to Tools, and in that color adjustments that I already showed, and we're going to go down here where it says temperature, and we're gonna cool it off. It's a little bit too warm. So I'm gonna go to the left here, cool that off a bit. We're gonna bring the highlights down a little bit. We're gonna bring the contrast up a little bit. It's looking pretty good. And I might bring the shadows up just a tiny bit. So that's looking pretty good there. That's looking pretty natural. So before I start editing, what I typically do is I find some music and then I kind of cut along to the beat of that music. And the nice thing is Movavi actually has built-in music. So you don't have to pay for a subscription for royalty-free music because Movavi has it built in. Now, obviously, if you want to look for your own music, you can go do that. And in this case, they got tons of options in here. So chill out, cinematic, classical, country, electronic, lo-fi is kind of the vibe. So you can just click on that. A little bit too slow. So I've actually found some music I want to use for this edit. So I'm gonna go to Import up here. I'm gonna go to Add. And I gotta find the folder here, Music. And this is from Epidemic Sound, which is where I get a lot of my music from. Click on that, and then we're gonna drop that down to the timeline. And I'm gonna zoom in. I need to get a little bit closer. Now there's a couple ways of doing this. You could drag the slider here to the plus icon, and that's going to increase the track size in your timeline. Or you could hit Command minus or plus in order to zoom in or zoom out. But I already know that this track starts a little too slow for me. So I want to start right there on the And if you want to trim the clip or cut the clip, up here you can see we've got the blade tool, and if you hover over it, it kind of shows you what the shortcut is for that. So that's just B, click right on that. And I'm gonna hit A to go back to the select tool or the arrow tool. Click on that first part that you cut and hit delete. And that's gonna remove that part of the song that you don't want. Now there's a gap there, and the cool thing is you can click in that empty space and hit delete, and it's gonna move the audio over top of where that was. Now this is the same as in a lot of the other professional editing apps that I've used, so that's good to see. So now when I move the playhead back to the start and hit play, the music's starting right on beat where we want it to. Now, another cool thing, before I get too far into this, is that this has beat detection. So typically what I would do is I would look at the waveform down here and see where the beats are. Or if I was shooting like a big professional music video, I would go in and put markers on the beats to make it a lot easier to edit. But the cool thing is this has like an auto beat detect. So we're gonna click on the audio here, and we're gonna go up to audio, and then we're gonna click on beat detection, and I'm gonna go detect audio beats. So it analyzes the clip and it puts these little green markers where all the beats are. So right now I think it's on every other snare, so let's see. Yeah, so it's on every other snare. So if we put this to 1 second, it should now be on every snare hit. Yep, so it's on every snare hit. Now that's a little bit too big of a gap, so we can even move this down to half a second. And now it puts markers in real time on all the beats. It's really cool it's doing it in real time. So you can see now it's gonna be on a kick and snare. That's really cool that it did that. And the nice thing is the playhead will kind of lock to that. So it makes it a lot easier. So when you go to cut, you're cutting on those markers. We got a snare hit. So I'll cut it right there. Hit B to cut that. And then back to A. And the next shot I want is when I pick the MacBook Neo up and put it into the screen. So I'm gonna start maybe about there, hit B, A, delete, delete again, it moves the clip over. So now it's gonna do our cut. Again, I wanna cut on the snare. So B, cut. So you get the idea. I'm gonna go through this real quick and chop this up really quickly and get us some kind of a sequence going here that we can play with. All right, cool. I just quickly edited it up in a couple minutes there. Now we have kind of an intro to our video. I'm gonna delete the rest because we don't need it. It's just a quick unboxing of the laptop, then to go into a talking head. So I'm gonna play this back for you so you can see what it's like. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there. So the next thing I wanna do is add some talking heads. So we're gonna be transitioning from the unboxing into like a talking head. So we're gonna go to import, go add, and then we're gonna add this talking head in here. I'm just gonna drag that down into the timeline. And so it's gonna start about here. The cool thing is, this is my entire talking head. So you can see there's gaps in here. If you didn't know, these are the waveforms. So this is the audio on the video track. You can actually separate that into a separate track if you want to. I'm just gonna leave it as part of the video for now, but see these big gaps here. This is just dead silence where I was talking and I stopped to think about what I was gonna say next. Now, when I'm typically editing, I'll go in and manually chop all that up, remove the silence, and so that I have like a nice edited sequence. Now, the thing is that takes me quite a while to do that to my A roll, but this has something called silence removal. So you can see this right here. Click on that. Now you can go in and manually adjust the volume threshold, the duration and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna go auto and see what it does. That was so fast, that's crazy. So it just did that. It removed all the silence. You can see now it butted up the sections there where I was talking and then stopped talking into the next scene. So let's just see what this sounds like. I'm gonna mute the music for now. Our Chromebook, try that one more time. This is basically like drop the laptop. So what you could do is you could delete these out of here because you don't need them. And you could delete this out of here because you don't need it, and then just move that. So that saved a lot of time. I have to go through and delete all the silent parts. So let's just see what this sounds like now. Apps, so Sheets, Docs. This is basically like a high-end Chromebook. So it's gonna be able to do all of your, so that's pretty good. That saves a lot of time. The other cool thing is we can do some transitions. So what I like to do usually is kind of like a swipe transition in from my B-roll into the talking head. So let's see. What's up, guys? So let's go over here to transitions. There's so many effects and different effects packs. But the transitions, these are all the transitions built in, which is crazy too, but you can also download a lot of different packs. But let's look at one of the ones I used recently. It was called Push, and that's something I typically like to use. So I'm gonna drag that onto the timeline here. As you can see, I'm dragging it over the two clips because I want it between the two clips to transition from the clip before to the clip after. And right now it's gonna be way too slow.
What's up, guys?
And the way to fix that is just grab the handle here and move this. So this is going to change the duration of the transition. So we want it to be kind of short, something like that. So let's see what that looks like.
What's up, guys?
So now we've got our transition into my talking head. And yeah, again, there's so many effects. If we go in here and look at some of these effects, there's like black and white, glitches, like there's so much stuff in here. Light leaks, sometimes light leaks are cool to add to footage. Obviously, it doesn't make sense in this case, but it would make sense if you're outside with like some car driving shots or something like that. But they've also got effects packs. So if we go up here to all, so there's a ton of Movavi effects. You can download different packs. There's like holiday themes, cinematic, family and kids, hobbies, vlogging, stuff like that. And there's so many things inside of those packs. I think they said there's over like 10,000 effects, which is crazy. And I'm seeing one right here I want to actually download. Let's download this YouTube pack right here. So one of the ones I was checking out was the Euphoria pack. So we can click on this. And these are overlays. So it says overlay right on it. And click on that. And you can see these are the overlays within that pack. So it's got all these crazy glitch transitions and overlays and stuff like that. It wouldn't make sense for this video, but again, it's cool that there's all these effects and packs for different things. I'm just kind of skimming the surface. I can't go through them all because there's so many. But we're going to leave it at that. We don't really need these effects on this footage necessarily, but it's cool that you can actually hover over it and see what it's going to look like in real time, which is pretty dope. So one other cool feature they have is auto captions, which is really nice to have built into an editor. I use a separate app on my phone to do captions, but we can click on this here, and we're going to go to Tools. Actually, we don't even need to go to Tools. It's down here. So you can see this CC right here. Click on that. And it's going to do auto subtitles right here. So it'll detect the language, or you could automatically drop in your language here. Obviously, it doesn't have all the languages, but it has all the main ones. And the cool thing is you can actually translate from one language to another language as well. So we're just going to go from English to English, and I'm just going to hit generate. Boom, just like that, it generated the subtitles so fast. Now, obviously, it only did it on this first clip where it's cut to, didn't do the entire thing. So if you wanted to get all the subtitles right out the gate, you'd have to do it ahead of time before you make your cuts. But what's nice is you can come in here on each subtitle and you can see what's written. So if it's wrong, you can fix it. You also have styles. I usually like yellow as a caption because I feel like it pops a little better. Just for fun, let's do Comic Sans. So it's Comic Sans. And then your design, you can see up here, you can change the font size. So if we want to go a little bigger, say I want to go to like 60, it's a lot bigger. Now I have to move it. So I'm going to move it up a little bit. You can put it anywhere you want, but I'm going to move it right there. And you can change the position. So right now we got kind of it centered right there. And styles, again, there's so many different styles. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, that kind of just gets the point across. Let's see if the captions are correct.
What's up, guys? Today I got the brand new MacBook Neo in, and this thing's in citrus, so it's the fun lime green colorway.
Perfect. So now we have captions on our video. We've got effects, transitions. What else should we add to? Oh, we should add some B-roll in here. What we need to do is right-click on the video track, and we're going to hit Add an extra track and put it above. So as you can see, we added a new video track above the previous track. So I'm just going to add all of these clips in here. This is from the Sony a7S III. This is all shot 4K 120 frames per second. So what I want to do is I just want to take a small part of it so I can actually grab the handle. So we've kind of narrowed in what we actually have in that clip so we don't have to drag the entire clip down. And I just click on that and drag it down to the timeline. It adds it into that new track. So now we've got some B-roll in here, which is pretty cool. We've got some transitions, we've got captions. We did a little bit of color grading. If you want to add text or animated text, you can do all that from here. Pre-made animations and stuff like that, but what we want is this thing right here, this animation here. So I'm just going to click and drag that down into the timeline. And as you can see, it's in its own track now. Up here, it's the gray track. So all of your like kind of text elements and stuff like that will be in its own separate track. It won't be in the video track, which keeps things nicely separated and really organized, to be honest. And so right here we can see we've got this little animation where the YouTube thing pops in. It says My Social. So we're gonna click on that. And right up here we can adjust what it says, the size of the font, the color and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna put my name in here. So now my name's in there, and then we can move this. So you got clip, you got motion tracking, tons of different things, but we're just gonna move this. So I'm just gonna select all of this and drag it down here because that's where I want it to pop up. And let's see what that looks like.
Actual push button down trackpad like the old days. And I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me at all.
That's pretty cool. So if it was the end of the video where I'm like, thanks for watching, subscribe, boom, that animation pops up. Let's add a sound effect, and we're gonna go to sounds. So there's tons of different sound effects in here. You can just search for whatever you're looking for. If I want a whip sound, like a whoosh, that's the perfect sound effect. Now the cool thing is you can heart that, and then the easy way to find it again is to go up to where it says favorites. So I've already hearted a quick whoosh, but now we're gonna use this whip. So we need to make a new audio track. So I'm gonna right click on the audio track and go add below. And I'm just gonna drag that whip sound effect down here, and I'm gonna line it up with that transition right between these two clips here. So let's see what that sounds like.
What's up, guys?
It's perfect. Now, I forgot I also have music, and we need to fix this. It's the one last adjustment, so I'm gonna unmute the audio. So the music's too loud, so what we need to do is turn it down. So I'm gonna put it right about here where I want to start turning down. We're gonna click on the audio, and we're gonna right click, and we're gonna go add volume point. I'm gonna move it down a little further to where I start talking, and then we're gonna add another volume point. And then we're gonna pull this down to about 10%. So you can see visually that I pulled the audio down and the waveforms have gotten smaller because we don't want it to overpower the talking. So let's see what it sounds like now.
What's up, guys? Today I got the brand new
The sound effect might be too loud, so we can actually just kind of pull down on the audio here to like maybe 59%.
What's up, guys? Today I got the brand new MacBook.
And that is pretty cool. So we've got a quick edit going here. We're going from unboxing right into my talking head. We've got sound effects. We got captions. We don't really need the captions. I just have them in there to show you. And the cool thing is you can actually export those captions to YouTube if you need to. I feel like I'm only scratching the surface. There's so much in here. So if you're interested in trying this out, make sure to check out the link in the description. You can download it for free, but I think you're limited to a specific amount of time that you can edit with it. You can buy it monthly, annually, whichever way you want. And I think there is a full buyout option as well, which is really dope. And then of course they've got all the different effects packs and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to video editing, this might be the best option, especially if you just picked yourself up a new MacBook Neo, which isn't even hot, which is crazy because this doesn't have a fan. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked this video, give it a thumbs down twice. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.